Good morning, all of you. Our next session that is dealing with the problems of this rotational spectroscopy. So far, we have discussed the applications, some of the applications of rotational spectra and the formulas there. Now we can go through the problems in rotational spectroscopy. So the first problem, that is calculate the reduced mass and moment of inertia of HCl from the following data. Given the atomic mass of hydrogen, that is 1.008 AMU, and that of chlorine, that is 35 AMU. Okay. So we have studied the formula for this for calculating the reduced mass, right? What is the formula for calculating reduced mass? Mu is equal to reduced mass mu is equal to m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, so that is the formula. So here given m1 and m2, so that you have to write down the data also. M1, that m1 means it is the atomic mass of hydrogen, that is 1.008 AMU. Then m2 means it is the atomic mass of chlorine, that is 35 AMU. Okay, so you have to calculate. So substitute these values. 1.008 into m2 is 35 divided by 1.008 plus 35. So the answer will be, it will be equal to, you have to calculate these values also. The value, it is about 0.9798. Okay, and also 1 AMU, normally 1 AMU, it will be equal to 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. That is, you have to convert this value. This is in atomic mass units, and you have to convert this value, atomic mass units, in kilogram. So for that, you have to multiply this value with 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27. So therefore, we can write the value mu as equal to 0.9798 into 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27. Okay, so that gives the answer in kilogram, that is equal to 1.627 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. Okay, so this is the answer in kilogram, the reduced mass in kilogram. So here you have to by heart this value, 1 AMU, that is equal to 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27. Okay, so this is a very simple problem. So we got this value, that is the reduced mass. Then in the question it is asked to calculate the moment of inertia of HCl as well as reduced mass, isn't it? So reduced mass we calculated. Then the next is moment of inertia. Moment of inertia, the formula is I is equal to mu r square. We know the value of mu, that is we calculated just now. Then what is r? R is given, that is the internuclear distance, mean internuclear distance of HCl, that is r, isn't it? So r is equal to 0.1275 nanometer. And also you have to convert this nanometer into meter. Okay, so that in meter, or normally while in spectroscopy we have to convert it into centimeter. So we can write it as 0.1275 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Okay, so here I am writing it in meters. So 0.1275 into 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Okay. Therefore, we can substitute the values. So, mu is equal to 1.627 into 10 raised to minus 27 into r. What is the value of r? It is 0.1275 into 10 raised to minus 9 r square, isn't it? The whole square. So, the value, the answer you will be having gives the moment of inertia. You have to multiply this value and write the answer. Okay. So this is how you have to calculate. So here you are asked to calculate the reduced mass and moment of inertia. So both the formulas you have to by heart, that is mu is equal to m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2. Then how to convert AMU into kilogram, that is 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. You have to multiply the answer. Then mean internuclear distance means it is the R. Okay, mean internuclear distance. Suppose this is hydrogen and this is chlorine. So this is the nucleus of both the atoms. Okay, so this is the mean internuclear, that means the distance between the two nuclei. So this will give the R value, the mean internuclear distance. This is the R. Okay. So hope you are clear with this problem. So we can move on to the next problem. Also you have to calculate the value also. Okay. Then the next one, the pure rotational spectrum of HCl consists of equally spaced lines 21.18 centimeter inverse apart in the IR region of electromagnetic spectrum. Calculate the moment of inertia and bond length in HCl given mu HCl is equal to 1.6288 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. Okay, please write down the question also. So here the data given, you have to write the data given. And so the pure rotational spectrum of HCl consists of equally spaced lines 21.18 centimeter inverse apart. That means equally spaced lines means the line spacing will be equal to 2b, isn't it? That you have studied. The line spacing between two rotational transitions or the spectral lines between the spectral lines, the line spacing will be equal to 2b. So this distance is how much? It is 21.18 centimeter inverse apart. Okay, so this distance is 21.18. Okay, this distance is 21.18. That means 2b is equal to 21.18 centimeter inverse. So from this you can calculate the value of b, isn't it? So b will be equal to 10.55 centimeter inverse, right? So you got the value of b. Then what other data are given? Almost equally spaced lines in the IR region. Calculate the moment of inertia and bond length of HCl. Then again mu of HCl is given, isn't it? Reduced mass is given directly, that is 1.6288 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. Mu of HCl is given, and also you have to calculate the moment of inertia I. Then bond length. Bond length means it is the mean internuclear distance. So the bond length R also you have to calculate. Okay, so we had got the value of B, isn't it? So what is the formula connecting B and I? We have to find out I, isn't it? So you have to write the formula connecting the rotational constant B and the moment of inertia I. So the formula for B is equal to H divided by 8 pi square IC, isn't it? B is equal to H divided by 8 pi square IC. From this you have to write I. What is I is equal to H divided by 8 pi square BC. That is equal to, you have to substitute the values. What is the value of H? H is Planck's constant. It is 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. Okay, value of H. So this will be equal to 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by 8 into pi square into, what is B? B is 10.55 centimeter inverse into C. C means it is the velocity of light. C in centimeter inverse, it will be equal to 3 into 10 raised to 10. Okay. So this much gives the value of I. So I is equal to, it is given in your textbook as 2.664 into 10 raised to minus 47 kilogram meter square. You have to calculate it. Okay. Then write the answer. Please don't copy from this. So this is the value of I. Then the next one, you have to calculate the bond length, isn't it? So the formula for calculating bond length, for the formula connecting this I and R is I is equal to mu R square. From this you can calculate the bond length R, isn't it? So here mu is given as 1.6288 into 10 raised to minus 27. So from this, what is R square? R square is equal to I by mu. Therefore, R is equal to square root of I by mu. Okay. So you have to substitute the values of I and mu. What is I? I is equal to 2.664 into 10 raised to minus 47 divided by mu. The value of mu is equal to 1.6288 into 10 raised to minus 27. Okay. So this the answer gives the internuclear distance or the bond length of HCl. This value also you have to calculate and write it down. Okay. So R is equal to square root of I by mu. That is, you have to substitute the values. Okay. So this is how you have to calculate this type of problems. So the one thing you have to take into consideration is the line spacing between the two spectral lines. So if these are the two spectral lines, the line spacing that is 21.18 centimeter inverse. So the line spacing is given by the formula 2b. So 2b is equal to 21.18, not b. Okay, don't write it as b is equal to 21.18. It is wrong. You have to write it as 2b is equal to 21.18. Okay, hope you are clear with this problem also. Then the next problem. The microwave spectrum of gaseous CN molecule consists of a series of equally spaced lines separated by 3.7978 centimeter inverse. Calculate the internuclear distance of the molecule given molar mass of carbon 12 is 12.011 and that of nitrogen 14 is 14.007 gram per mole. Okay. So first of all, you have to write the data given. Again, the gaseous CN molecule consists of equally spaced lines. That means 2b is equal to 3.7978 centimeter inverse. From this, you can calculate the value of b, that is equal to 3.7978 divided by 2. Okay, that the value is b. Again, the given the values. Molar mass of carbon 12, it is 12.011 gram per mole, and that of nitrogen 14, that is equal to 14.007 gram per mole. Again, the similar steps. So you have to calculate the internuclear distance of the molecule. So here I is not given, so you have to calculate I also. So the relation connecting B and I is equal to B is equal to H divided by 8 pi square IC, or I is equal to H divided by 8 pi square BC. So in this you have to substitute the values. H is equal to 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by 8 pi square into B. The value you obtain here, that is about 1.816, then 918, then 816, 918, 1.8989, isn't it? So 8 pi square into 1.8989 into C, velocity in centimeter, that is 3 into 10 raised to 10. Okay, so this gives the moment of inertia of that CN molecule. Okay, then you have to calculate the value of R. So again, the relation connecting I and R, that is I is equal to mu R square, or R square is equal to I by mu, or R is equal to square root of I by mu. Then again you have to substitute for the values of I and mu. See here, mu is not given, so you have to calculate mu also. Mu is equal to m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2, and that is equal to m1, that is for the atomic mass for carbon 12, that is 12.011 into m2 is 14.007 divided by 12.011 plus 14.007. Okay, that value into that value, it will be in AMUs, and that value into how much? 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27. Thus the answer we will be having it in kilogram. Okay, so the answer you got here, you have to multiply it with 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27. Okay, that value gives the reduced mass. So the reduced mass value you have to substitute in this equation. Therefore, you can calculate the bond length R. Okay. So I had done 1 or 2 problems here from the textbook. So remaining 2 problems are there. You have to do it by yourself and submit it in our classroom. Okay. Before the next session, you have to submit the problems as well. So please do the problems. It is unusually asked question for section C part. You can get the marks very easily if you are doing the problem. So please do the problems. It is very important, very, very important. And also it's a very simple problem. With just one formula, you can calculate the values. Okay. So our next part, that is the vibrational spectra. Vibrational spectra or IR spectra, infrared spectra. See, in the case of rotational spectra, we have seen the molecules will be absorbing energy from the microwave region, isn't it? There the molecules will be absorbing energy from the microwave region and it will be excited to the different rotational energy levels J1 and J2, isn't it? There the molecules will be undergoing rotational transitions, or the molecule will be rotating. In the case of vibrational spectrum, the molecules will be absorbing energy from the infrared region. The molecule will be absorbing energy from the infrared region, and thereby it will be the transitions will be happening to the different vibrational energy levels. Say these are some of the vibrational energy levels. Say V is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, so if the molecule is absorbing energy from the IR region, what happens? It will be excited from the ground state to the next higher energy level. That is, the transitions can be from V is equal to 0 to V is equal to 1. Or it can be from V is equal to 1 to 2, or it can be from 2 to 3, and so on. So the transitions, it will be depending upon the energy it absorbed, that particular molecule will be absorbing. So in the case of vibrational spectra, what happens? The spectra which is arising from the transitions between the different vibrational energy levels. Transitions between the different vibrational energy levels. The transitions between the different vibrational energy levels. Okay. And also here, what happens after absorbing energy from the IR region? What happens? The molecule will be vibrating, isn't it? The molecule will be vibrating after absorbing energies from the corresponding IR region. See, we can normally compare this vibration of a molecule with the elongation of a rubber band. If we are giving some energy for stretching, what happens? That rubber band will be stretching, isn't it? So just like that, the molecule will be vibrating, and vibrations will be according to the energy absorbed. It can be a stretching vibration or it can be a compression vibration. Okay, just like we are holding a rubber band. So the vibrations will be just like vibrations will be a stretching vibration or it can be a compression vibration. So this is a stretching vibration while this is a compression vibration. So such types of vibrations will be occurring in that particular molecule. And also normally this IR spectrum, it will be occurring in the spectral range of 500 to 4000 centimeter inverse. That is, we will be getting the IR spectrum in this frequency or in this wavelength. That is 500 to 4000 centimeter inverse. Okay. Then the next point is that for a molecule to be vibrationally active, or for a molecule to give vibrational spectrum, the essential requirement is that the molecule should have a change in dipole moment. The molecule should have a change in dipole moment. That is the essential requirement for a molecule to be IR active, or the essential requirement for a molecule to give a spectral line, or the essential requirement for a molecule to give vibrational spectrum. If it is giving vibrational spectrum, that means that particular molecule will be IR active. Okay. So the essential requirement for a molecule to have IR spectrum, to give IR spectrum, that is, it should have a change in dipole moment. And so normally in the case of this dipole moment, normally this diatomic molecules means it will be molecules with two atoms. Okay, so it can be nitrogen, oxygen, etc. See, in the case of nitrogen and oxygen, N triple bond N. Okay, so here, is there any electronegativity difference between these two atoms? No, both the atoms are the same, isn't it? That means they will not be having any electronegativity difference. Only if there are electronegativity difference, what happens? There will be a change in dipole moment. That means the dipole moment means it will be a charge separation with a distance, isn't it? There will be positive and negative charges with some specific distance. Then only that particular molecule will be having dipole moment. And also in the case of this type of molecules, that means these are homonuclear diatomic molecules, right? These are homonuclear diatomic molecules. That means atoms with, these are atoms, these are the same atoms, isn't it? So they are homonuclear diatomic molecules. So in the case of homonuclear diatomic molecules, there will not be any change in dipole moment. Okay, there will not be any change in dipole moment. So such type of molecules will not give IR spectra. Homonuclear diatomic molecules will not give IR spectrum. Will not give IR spectrum. Then what type of molecules will be giving IR spectrum? That is, they will be heteronuclear diatomic molecule. Heteronuclear means different atoms. Heteronuclear diatomic molecules will be giving IR spectrum. For example, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide means it will be having one carbon atom and oxygen atom. Oxygen is highly electronegative. So there will be electronegativity difference between these two atoms, isn't it? Between carbon and oxygen, there will be electronegativity difference, and as a result, this type of molecule will be IR active. So carbon monoxide it is, carbon monoxide it is, okay, carbon monoxide it is IR active. Then another example is NO. Here also electronegativity difference are there, since there are two different types of atoms. So it is also IR active. Then about the case of HCl also, it is IR active. So all these molecules, they are IR active. That means they are heteronuclear diatomic molecules. So we can say this heteronuclear diatomic molecules will be IR active. Example, CO, NO and HCl. So the essential requirement for a molecule to be IR active or to give rotational spectrum, that is, there should have a change in dipole moment. So if there is a change in dipole moment, that molecules will give IR spectrum. So those molecules will give, which will be giving IR spectrum, they are, that particular molecules are IR active. Otherwise, so heteronuclear molecules are IR active, and this homonuclear diatomic molecules are IR inactive. Homonuclear diatomic molecules are IR inactive. Okay. So this is a very important point, and you have to study this particular point also, the essential requirements. Then the next is considering the energy of a diatomic molecule. Okay. The vibrational energy of a diatomic molecule. Vibrational energy of a diatomic molecule, that is represented as E vibrational. E vibrational is equal to V plus half into H omega. E vibrational is equal to V plus half into H omega, where V is the vibrational quantum number. Where V is the vibrational quantum number. And we can have values 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So E vibrational is equal to V plus half into H omega, where V is the vibrational quantum number, and omega and we can have values 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. What is omega? Omega is the fundamental frequency of vibration, or fundamental vibrational frequency. Fundamental vibrational frequency, that is omega. Omega is the fundamental vibrational frequency. So the value for calculating omega, omega is equal to 1 by 2 pi into square root of k by mu, where k is called as the force constant. K is the force constant. Mu is the reduced mass. K is the force constant. Mu is the reduced mass, and omega is the fundamental vibrational frequency. And here, so energy of a diatomic molecule E vibrational is equal to V plus half into H omega. Then one more point to be noted down. So here the omega, for calculating omega, the formula is omega is equal to 1 by 2 pi into square root of k by mu. Okay. And also the vibrational energy in the ground state. E vibrational, that is the vibrational energy in the ground state. E vibrational, that is equal to half h omega. That means in the ground state also, ground state means V is equal to 0. So in the ground state also, the molecule is having a certain amount of energy. Okay, that means in the ground state also, the molecule is not at rest.